Dang, man. Please say it ain't so. This whole time, I've been rooting for Flip to stay on the JBP. I've consistently talked about how important he is to the show. I understand his entertainment value, his edge, his personality. Let's call it the spark he brings to the room. I get all of that. But at this point, it's crystal clear they do not rock with Flip anymore. When they were playing the game, Mark was on him heavily. He was basically little boying him with every single response. Every word that came out of Flip's mouth, Mark had something slick to say. And their dynamic has shifted in a really bad way. There needs to be a real conversation between the two of them. And honestly, someone else needs to be there to mediate it, because they genuinely do not like each other. I remember a couple of episodes back when Mark straight up told him, "I really don't think you're smart. I'm not joking when I say that. I really think you're dumb." He said that to that man's face. And because Flip is so fed up with everything Mark says, he's basically just shrugging it off at this point. But Mark is openly telling him, "I don't rock with you." And ever since that argument, Flip has been looking at everybody on that couch sideways, because he got scapegoated in that situation. They framed the whole argument as intelligence versus stupidity, and Flip became the poster child for stupidity. Mark started that fight. He antagonized Flip. And when Flip defended himself, Mark got flustered. He got frustrated for one reason only, because Flip called him a sucker. Now, if Flip turned around and got mad every time Mark called him an imbecile or questioned his intelligence or talked down to him, Flip would be the one getting dragged. We'd be looking at Flip a whole different way. But since that argument, Flip has held real resentment toward Mark. So much so that Joe had to step in today and shut a topic down. Joe told Flip they weren't going to keep talking about why they hadn't been to Ish's house, even though Joe himself feels the same way. The only reason Queenzflip is even on that topic is that Joe was already on it. But Joe cut it short because he knows Flip is really taking shots at Mark. Flip wants everybody to turn on Mark. And trust me, everybody sees what Mark is doing. But let's be honest. They're gonna follow the money, and Mark is the money. He's the cash cow right now. Nobody is turning their back on Mark. They're just gonna acknowledge it and keep it moving. Flip wants to fight Mark, and Joe has been telling Flip for the longest, "You're not going anywhere." I should have known when Joe told all of us to clip it up. Queenzflip is locked in until 2027.
Joe is clearly fed up with all the antics, and now he's using Mona as the scapegoat because he's been quietly trying to replace Flip. And I don't know if y'all caught this, but Fetty Wap just came home. The only thing that tells me is that Surf might not be too far behind. I saw somewhere he was possibly getting out in February. So what happens when Surf comes home? There's not going to be room for everybody. And a lot of y'all have been in my comments telling me to pay attention to something important. Sue Surf reached out to Mona, and Mona responded. And yes, they are in communication, and we all know Queenzflip hasn't spoken to Surf not one single time. So Surf is on his way back, and it's feeling like a replacement tour. They're on Flip at every move during the game. You're an idiot. Every joke somehow lands on Flip. You're an idiot. When someone else is getting joked on, they immediately point to Flip. Nah, you're the idiot here. Let's all pile on Flip. And because Joe and Flip are actually going through something real, it's spilling over. They're calling each other's relationships out. Joe told Flip he needs to ET phone home or go home. And Flip had previously called Joe out asking why Shade was around, saying, "Are you going through something?" And wouldn't you know it, Shade pops up again not too long after that. So now everybody's looking at Flip like, "You're replaceable. We don't need you here anymore." Flip looks like Trae Young in this situation. I just don't know who the Washington Wizards are in this analogy, but Flip looks like Trae Young. You gave everything to this franchise. We appreciate the spark you brought, but we're going in a different direction. Don't tell me Mona is JJ. Please don't tell me Mona is JJ. Oh Lord, this is wild. The saddest part of all this is that Flip knows what's coming. He feels it. He's acknowledged it. Because even the game they started with before getting into Taboo felt telling. Joe wanted to get his take off with no pushback. That game was already set up for Flip to lose. And of course, the first person was Flip. And he couldn't even get his thoughts out because Flip was already irritated. And he said it straight up, "I'm pissed at you." Well, that's fine. But then again, I don't really need you anymore. At least that's how it's being played off, like a joke or a game in my head. Because let me ask this, why would you put him in the commercial? Why would you use what was arguably the biggest moment from last year, featuring him and Mark in the promo? If you truly don't want him to be part of this moving forward, that doesn't add up. And right now, it's all fun and games to him. He's still getting paid the same whether he shows up every day or just once a week. But reality starts to hit when certain things don't change. Oh, the suspension still hasn't been lifted. Oh, I really can't come to every episode. Oh, when I told Mark I'd pop up on a Friday episode, I suddenly got a call from Ian. Oh, Joe isn't dealing with me directly anymore. He's not answering texts or calls. Now Ian is the one handing out the discipline. The writing is on the wall, Flip. And trust me, Joe is still watching everything you do. He sees the so-called documentary-style content you're dropping. In a way, he's telling you to keep doing your thing. Like, I don't have advice for what you're building outside of here, but I've got plenty of advice for how you move while you're still here. And I told y'all this from day one. Be careful, because this might have been Mark's plan all along. People are starting to wake up and say it out loud. Mark is the reason Flip only shows up once a week, and it has nothing to do with Mona. Once again, Mona was just the scapegoat. And what I said about Mark from the beginning still stands. He's here for a 2-year run, then he's out. Don't let him be the reason co-hosts get fired, replaced, or have their days cut, especially when he's not even here long-term. So Flip might be trying to expose something much bigger. Because at the end of the day, no matter how wild he is, no matter how many outbursts he has, Flip has been loyal to the soil. So loyal that he doesn't even speak on any of y'all outside the pod, unless it came directly from his own mouth. And now that's being used against him. All for someone who isn't loyal at all. Call me whatever you want, a Mark hater. I don't care. Mark is draining the JBP of its juice. He's learned everything he needs to learn. He's absorbed everything he can from Ian, Patreon, and the infrastructure. Once he gets what he needs, he's gone. And if his podcast with his wife takes off, yeah, it's a wrap. He'll throw all the JBP plans straight in the trash. He doesn't give a damn. And the craziest part is, the person who actually does care, no matter how it comes off, is usually the one who gets fired or replaced. We already saw how they couldn't just bounce back from Melissa Ford. Shout out to Mona. She's big, she's dynamic, but she's not a Melissa Ford replacement. So much so that you can check today's episode and you'll still see Melissa Ford's name in the comments. So I don't know what happens if Joe lets go of the 2 people who came in at the same time, the same 2 who brought the most spark to the show. But maybe I'm bugging, like always. Let me know what y'all think. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't, and if you have, you already know how we're rocking. And yes, there is a Patreon episode. Man, it's getting bad. I'm talking Flip leaving level bad. But on Patreon, I also talk about someone I think should get the boot. And I go visceral. I'm tired of biting my tongue on this one. Y'all can check that out if you want. I'll see y'all soon. Peace.